All right, so hello, welcome everybody to this Google Hangout. Money is not the problem, you are. So that's an interesting point of view. So let me introduce you to Viv Adcock, who's a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, who's going to be playing with myself and Domingo Gill today around money and all the stuff that is. So Viv, money's not the problem, you are? Really?
So this was a book. I was convinced years ago I never had money. I was living week to week and I was earning good money, but I just never seemed to have any left over. I never seemed to have any for me. I was paying my bills and my mortgage and paying for everything else. But when it came to me, I'm like, where's the money for me? Where's my money to go on a holiday or to choose, have a facial or to treat myself? There was never anything left for me at the end of the week or the end of the month. And I started to get really, frustrated, talked to a few people about it, and a friend of mine suggested, look, read this book, Money Isn't the Problem, You Are, by Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness. And there was just something about the title that really, it annoyed me, but it also stirred my curiosity at the same time. It's like, what do you mean I'm the problem? Isn't money the solution? Isn't money supposed to fix everything? Isn't money going to be the, the rainbow and the be-all and end-all that just makes everything better? So I ordered the book and it arrived, and it was just such a different perspective on money. And it's really about looking at your relationship with your money, because believe it or not, we do have a relationship with money. Most of us don't look at it like that, but it is. You either love it, you hate it, you fall out with it, you've never got enough, it's not good enough. We've got all of these points of view that we project at money. And the first thing that I got to in this book was, oh my God, I actually hate money. I hate having to deal with it. I hate the fact that I've never got enough money. I hate that I felt useless, and it was almost as if because I didn't have money, I thought I was less. I thought that I wasn't, as good as people that had money. I know it's a crazy point of view, but there was so much attached to it. And as I read the book, it brought in so many new awarenesses and totally different perspectives. But the most important thing was it gave me tools to immediately, turning the pages in that book, it gave me the tools immediately to start changing what wasn't working for me. Really simple tools that you can do right now. So that was my introduction to the book, and from that perspective, I then literally, it was that book that introduced me to the tools of Access Consciousness. I became a certified facilitator, and now I facilitate 2-day live classes on Money Isn't the Problem, You Are, or I offer telecalls on this, because so many people. The thing about money is it's a taboo subject. Nobody talks about it. It's kind of like this hush-hush thing, and it's like, how the hell do you expect to get clear of your points of view or have clarity on what's going on for you if you can't talk about it? It's like it was never spoken about in my family. Was it spoken about in yours?
No, money and sex are like two things that you never, ever talk about because it's rude. It's rude to talk about money. It's rude to even mention it. People don't like talking about money. They think it's bad and wrong. And the word which had the most emphasis that you were talking about earlier on was, I hated money. I hated the fact that I didn't have it. I hated the fact that I wanted it. And it's like, there it is. It's that I hate money because.
Yeah.
And there's so many. I could just sit there and go boom, boom. And the awareness I'm getting of what people think. There's so much charge around I hate money.
Yes. And the other big one for me was one of the first lines in the book is, money is not the solution. Because most of us think, well, if I get an inheritance or if I get a bonus at work or if I win the lottery, how many people think if they win the lottery, everything in their life's going to be fantastic?
And how often do they also block that? So they've got this this kind of infinite circle going backwards and forwards about, I really want to win the lottery because that would change my life, but I don't think I ever will because I'm not lucky enough and I don't, and I don't deserve it. But I really want to win the lottery. It's the solution to my problems, but I don't think I ever will. And they're going round and round and round and round, and yeah.
And it's like every time you think about money, does it send you absolutely crazy? Does it not make any sense? Because I think a lot of us logically, we budget, we save, we work harder, we think if we need more money we have to work more hours or take a second job. Well, the biggest thing was, what if money is actually made by requesting it to come into your life? You ever ask, money come, money come, money come, money come to my party?
Actually, do you know, I often walk down the street and I will look at everything that so I'll walk past a fence or a crisp packet in the road, and I'll ask everything as I'm walking down the road when I'm kind of in that space of, can I have the money now, please? And I will ask everything, every person that walks past me. If I see a bird, I'll ask the bird, the cars, the traffic lights. I'll ask everything.
Yeah.
In my head. I mean, I don't kind of, I don't do it out loud, and it's fun. I find it really amusing.
Well, thank you, because you just prompted something for me that was very prevalent in the early days when I first started kind of looking at my relationship with money. There was always a need. There was a desperation. It was like, oh my God, I haven't got enough to pay this bill, or I've got the rates are due on the property next month, or whatever it was. If I had a bill or I had something looming in the distance that I was already starting to tell myself, I started worrying, how am I going to get the money for this? So that energy, if you look at your relationship with money, is an energetic relationship. So if I'm constantly needing, if I'm, say your money for a moment, and I'm desperate and I'm needy and I'm grabby and I'm insecure, and yeah, exactly. It's like, does that energy actually invite money into your life, or does it actually repel it?
And it's interesting. It's something I remember Gary Douglas saying recently, which is the minute you decide that you have a need for something, you immediately place it beyond your reach.
And the other part of that is, yeah, and how much do we make valuable based on what we've decided we can't have? So if you think, the new coat that you'd like to wear for winter, if you think that that would be lovely for to wear and keep yourself warm, and all of a sudden you look at the price tag and go, I can't afford that. Straight away, that point of view of I can't afford it totally stops anything else coming in, any more money coming in. And with that point of view, it feeds the need and the desperation and the necessity, rather than a different way to look is, I would love to have that coat. What would it take for the money to show up? And there's a different energy. So instead of functioning from need and desperation and lack and scarcity and poverty, it's like there's a level of playfulness or invitation or desire. It's like, I really desire that coat. What would it take for the money to show up? And that's a totally different energy. So if you think about desiring money, money come. If I buy you, will you make me money? Money, what would it take for you to come and play in my life? Does that invite more money to come in? Or, oh my God, I haven't got enough money, and how am I going to pay the bills, and I can't afford it?
May I say something there?
Please.
And it's things coming to me, and then I would like to put as a voice to everyone might have this issue as well, It's like when you say, if we have the need, it's not going to work because we are projecting the need. So at the end, we are saying the universe we don't have it. So we are creating that point. But what is kind of difficult is like, if I don't have it, how do I not project the need? Because there is a rock bottom, say, I don't have this, I would like to have it. So I'm projecting that I don't have it. How do you get within yourself that you have it already in order to things showing up, Yeah.
And I thank you, Domingo, because I think I can definitely relate to. It's like this stuck point of, if you literally look in your wallet or your bank account and you don't have any money, or you have very little money, how do you turn that around?
How do you lie to yourself?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. So, and I think this is where, for me, I used to say affirmations in the early days of, I have money, I have money, I have money, but I'm like, no, I am lying to myself. So that creates more conflict with your relationship with money. So for me, this is where the question gave me a whole different route, a whole different road. It's like, I would love that coat, for instance. What will it take for the money to show up for that? And look, I also, when I ask the question, it's not, I then kind of create the space for the money to show up, or I create the space for a different possibility, rather than my mind going then into, well, how do I get the money? Because I think a lot of our energy is spent on getting money, rather than, what if I could create money with ease?
Yeah, and expectations as well.
Yeah, expectations. So look, okay, you're asking for the coat, for example, and you don't have the money in your bank account, and you've got bills coming in, and you can't see any, major money coming in the future. you asking the question, what will it take for me to have that money? What will it take for me to have this coat? It might take a week, it might take 6 weeks, it might take you 2 years. But if you ask the question without the expectation and being aware of, I don't have the money, but I don't have the money, every time you ask a question, you're opening doors that all the I don't have money or I can't afford it have shut. Does that make sense?
Definitely, definitely. One of the things that has helped me a lot is to be in allowance of what it is at the moment.
Yes.
Because if I get like excited or I'm not allowing what it is, I get into the expectations, I get into pushing, I get into the need as well. So
thank you. And the other thing that you just prompted for me there is gratitude. Being grateful for what you do have. You've got clothes on your body, you've got a roof over you. It looks like quite a nice little apartment you have there. You know, we're on the internet, we're talking to each other from different parts of the world. It's like when you're grateful for what you do have, you're grateful you can put your shoes on in the morning and go for a walk. You've got a body that's healthy. You've got fresh air that you can breathe. You've got electricity you can turn on. You know, there's so much that we can be grateful for that we take for granted. So that's the energy of gratitude changes everything, because you cannot have judgment and gratitude at the same time. So if you find €5 on the floor, you know, on the ground, it's like, wow, how did I get so lucky? €5, put it in your pocket. Or you find a penny, or you find a pound or a dollar or whatever, you know, currency you work with. Every time I pick up a penny or a 5-cent piece or whatever it is, how did I get so lucky? What would it take for more of this to show up? So you start changing that need and desperation. You're grateful for what you do have right now. Even if you've just got, you know, €10 in your pocket, be grateful for the €10. Be grateful for the sun shining. And that energy of gratitude changes everything.
I would kind of agree with that. And I think one of the biggest things for gratitude for me is being grateful for me. And that's one of the things that so many people struggle with in terms of, you know, we've said we don't talk about sex, we don't talk about money in this world. What we don't also talk about is just how awesome that we really are, because you're being big-headed and you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, well, okay, what if that wasn't the case? What if you could be grateful for you just because you exist?
Exactly. Thank you. And so going back to this, you know, everywhere we make money the solution, what if you're the solution? What if you're the person that, I mean, crikey, literally, I'm talking 8 years ago, I had no savings. I was living week to week. I was living in a shed. You know, I had a business. I was busy. I was earning good money. But it wasn't until I started to realize that, I wasn't grateful for what I'd got. I was always looking at what I didn't have. I wasn't acknowledging me for what I had created. Wow, I have got a great business. Wow, I've got fantastic clients that I work with. I've got a beautiful place. Okay, it's a shed, but I live in a beautiful place, a part of the world, and it's a beautiful property. And yeah, and so when I got this in the book, when he says, you know, what if money isn't the solution? What if you're the solution? You know, for Domingo, you have the courage to kind of show up today and ask questions and go, you know what, I do want to change my money situation. Being grateful for that. Most people don't even want to talk about this stuff. They're ashamed, they're embarrassed, they feel guilty, and this is whether they've got lots of money or whether they've got no money.
Yeah, there is this place of vulnerability when you have to be honest with your real situation instead of hiding more. It's like, okay, I have this problem, quote problem, and I want to change it. And one of the things you say about gratitude, many people, and I include myself, we don't know how to be always aware of what we have. We are always going to see what we don't have or what other people have. It's like, oh, I don't have this, and then you blame yourself because you don't have it.
Yes.
While you have a lot of things already.
Yeah, and that's where the judgment becomes more valuable than the gratitude first. So how I started to turn the gratitude around, because I used to think that I was really jealous of people that had what I wanted. And then when I read this about gratitude, it's like, no, I wasn't jealous. I was actually, wow, they've got something that I would like. What would it take? Excuse me. What would it take for me to have that? So then I started to see that what they had was an inspiration. Excuse me.
Whoever that is, do you want to join and create that?
Yes, thank you.
Wow, you're clearing that.
So what would it be? What would it take for us to be grateful for everything we've got? Excuse me. Yes, please. My lovely assistant's bringing me some water. She can hear I'm coughing. So yeah, what would it take for you to have whatever it is that you're looking for, rather than thinking that somebody else has got it and you can't have it, or making it more valuable because you can't have it, or telling yourself you can't afford it? What if you could use the inspiration of, wow, I really like that coat. What would it take for me to have one of those coats? And like I say, it might not show up straight away. Thank you, my love. Cheers.
Why are you doing that?
Let me just add, asking you shall receive. Thanks, love.
And there it is. There's the thing. It's like so many people. So let's talk about the ask and receive, because I think that's two elements that often people don't do. Is they don't often ask a question. They kind of have a statement with a question at the end. So often I hear people, and we'll say it from people who use access tools as well. It's like they'll say, how does it get any better than this? Where's the question in that?
Yeah.
How does it get any better? And they'll just use it just as this, how does it get any better? How does it get? It's like a statement with no kind of, just with a question mark pasted at the end.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. That's a really, really important thing, because just as you're saying, we can ask the question, yeah, right, how does it get any better than this?
Exactly, because you've already, there's an assumption there that it won't.
And it's the energy that creates. It's the energy of the attitude, or the energy that you have behind the words, that's going to create more of that, rather than, wow, how does it get any better than this? I just facilitated a 2-day Money Isn't the Problem class in Norway this weekend, and I was telling them a story. I've just completely lost what I was going to say now.
Asking a question.
Thank you. I was telling them I was sharing the question of, well, how does it get any better than this? And it's this whole, I have totally lost what I was going to say. How does it get better than that?
So, all right, let's play with that while that's kind of coming back to you. So when we're asking a question, as you said, there is an energy that we be when we ask a question. And it's, are you willing to receive what you ask for? So how often do we ask? We don't really ask a question because we're not really willing to receive.
Yeah.
We're not willing to receive a no, and we're not really willing to receive what it is that we've asked for. And we're very clear about, we have specific conditions about how the thing that we've asked for should show up, and we won't receive it unless it meets those.
Yeah, which is what Domingo was just talking about, the expectations. So when you ask a question, it's like an open-ended question. Well, how does it get any better than this? Your mind will try and work it out. Well, it doesn't get any better than this because blah, blah, blah. Or your logical mind will try and come up with the answer. So for me, what I did in the early days was, what if I asked that question 4 or 5 times, but with the energy of curiosity?
I often add I wonder to it, because I wonder how it gets any better than this.
Yes.
For me, that works for me. So it's just another play around with it.
Yeah. So when you ask the question, well, how does it get any better than this? Something really great's just shown up. You've just been given a bonus, or you find £10 on the pavement, or whatever. How does it get any better than this? It's the energy that actually pulls more of that magic into your universe, rather than how does it get any better than this? Like you were saying, it's a statement with a question mark. It's not truly a question. So what else is possible with my current financial situation? And the question that I love playing with is, if I were creating my financial reality, what would it be like? Because nobody ever teaches you, hey, Alan, here you are at the age of 6, you're my son. Hey, son, look, you can create anything, you can have anything, you can be anything, you can do anything. What would you like to create? Mm-hmm. With no limitation. If you were creating your financial reality, what would it be like? So a question I was just running in the car on the way to this Hangout was, okay, what would it take for me to create money out of thin air with ease? Mm. What would it take?
I love that Glenise Hughes, who's another facilitator, she often uses it as if by magic, and she'll ask the question, what would it take for money to show up for me today as if by magic?
Yes. And like you were saying, it's the energy of playfulness, of invitation, of genuine curiosity, as if you're a child again. So,
and do you know, it's like just something that's just pinged into my head around that. Where do we not acknowledge when we actually are given something that may... So we say, what would it take for money to show up for me today as if by magic? And then a friend calls us and goes, do you want to go for a coffee? And they pay. Where do we not acknowledge things like that as actually the universe gifting us money?
yes.
Or someone takes you out for a meal, or this coat that you've been asking for, what would it take for this coat to show up for me with ease? And someone says to you, look, I've got this brand new coat, I actually don't like it, would you like it? And you're like, oh, and are you willing to receive that without them feeling obliged? So just to go right back to the very beginning of this whole thing around receiving and money, because that's what got me into my depression in a sense, before I kind of came across Access, was this: I was in such a financial hole, and the only way out was to slit my wrist. And a friend of mine offered to buy me a copy of Dane's book, Being You, Changing the World. And that was the moment that I made the choice not to kind of click out. Was me sitting there going, oh my god, I can't afford to pay her back, and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to receive this book, and I'm just going to receive it. And if she stops talking to me, then blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of I said yes, I'd love it. And here I am, 3.5 years later, alive. So
Thank goodness.
And so it is, it's that willingness, and it is really vulnerable, and it was really uncomfortable. Do you know what? I am just going to receive that. I'm just going to receive it.
And look at the gift that was. Thank you, because how often do we go into a really weird space when something shows up, like you say, look, when you say, what will it take for something greater than I can imagine to show up today? What will it take for money to show up as if by magic? It might be a coffee, it might be a friend giving you a book, it may not be $100 landing in your lap per se, but acknowledging what has shown up. And there's just a question that I want to run here. This is one that I've been playing with literally this weekend. So what have you chosen to create that you haven't yet acknowledged as creation, that if you acknowledged it would allow it to expand exponentially?
Wow. I was feeling the energy of that right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are creating. And like you say, the book showed up, the coat shows up, the ride into town shows up. It's like all these other ways that prosperity and money and abundance and wealth and riches and everything else wants to contribute to us. So then how easy is it for us to receive when something shows up as if by magic, when somebody's being generous to contribute a book that saves your life? And when we truly receive that gift, when we can truly receive it and go beyond that kind of, I owe you something, or I owe you back, or I've got to pay you for it, all that weird stuff that goes on when people treat us or when they gift us something. What if you can truly receive that, and that only contributes more to their life?
So, too many tangents coming off, but I think one of them I'd love to pick up on with you is, what is it that we fear so much about acknowledging that we are the creators of everything that we experience? Because, like you said, that question is just awesome. What, and I don't like the word why, but I'm going to use it just for this, is why are we so terrified of acknowledging where we have created and do create?
Well, I think initially it's that, I know for me personally, I was more than happy to put my hand up and be proud as punch of the good stuff I'd created. But all the crap, no, that was life. That was life attacking me. That was, that wasn't me that did that. I was playing the victim. And just something to say to Domingo, it's like, look, whatever your situation is right now financially, you've created it. And it's like, holy shit, give yourself a pat on the back. How good are you at creating? And whatever you've created, if it's not what you would like, it's like, okay, cool. If I'm that good at creating a pile of crap, with respect, Domingo, if you've created a pile of crap in your life, okay, if I'm that good at creating, what if I put that energy into something I would like to create? So if you were creating your financial reality, what would you choose? What would it be like? What would be fun for you to have as your financial reality? Beyond this reality.
Thank you for asking that question, because I was going to explain or give a point of view that many people have. It's like we have been told that we have to work and then we have to do this, to do that in order to get money, which is not fun at all. This point of view. It's like you have to. And then when we ask questions, it's like, what is gonna be fun for me? We don't know that, because the deep point of view of that is like, I have to do something that is not fun for me. So it's kind of, you lock down yourself in some aspects.
Yes.
Because you don't want to do things that you don't want to do. And it's really tricky, this point of view, I guess.
Well, and you can see how this reality, if you like, is, okay, you have to get an education, you have to get a job, you have to work 9 to 5, you have to be grateful you've got a job. Rather than, Domingo, you're my son, you're 6 years old, darling, you can do anything you want. What is it you would like to, what's fun for you? What would bring you so much joy and happiness that you couldn't imagine being paid for?
Exactly. So many of us, I know many people, that we don't know what to do, because we've never been asked this question, so we don't really know what we like to do or what is really fun, because we always have been working hard to get money.
And the other major thing that I got from the book is money follows joy.
Yes, yeah.
If you're happy, if you do what you love, I mean, how does it get any better than that? What would it take for you to do what you love and get paid more money than you could ever imagine?
So I wonder, what is that?
And so asking this question, so currently anybody watching this might be in a job that they're not enjoying and they desperately know that they'd like to change it, but they don't know what else is out there. And I think a lot of people get into your situation. I did too. It's like, I have a job. It's normal by this reality standard. So I'm working 9 to 5 or whatever it is, rather than somewhere inside us, we know there's more. Somewhere inside us, we know that we would love to be doing something else, but we can't maybe understand what it is logically. We have the energy, we have a feeling of, I know there's something else, and I'm looking around and I'm trying everything on in this reality. I've been a baker, and I've been a nurse, and I've been a hairdresser, and I've been a doctor, but none of those really do it for me. What is it? What is it that would bring me so much joy that I couldn't imagine being paid money for, that would make you a lot of money? So money follows joy. If you're happy, money will always find you. So great question. So if you're watching this in the future, so what is it that I can do so easily that I absolutely love to do that can make me lots of money? Mm. It's asking that question with that curiosity. And look, you might need to ask this question every day for a year or 2 years, but as soon as you ask the question, the universe goes, oh, you're looking for a different possibility. You want to be happier. Okay, yeah. Cool. And it will start to rearrange things. You suddenly start dreaming about something, or you have a conversation, or you see something in a paper. You know how it works.
Definitely, yeah.
Without asking the question, we're always kind of stuck and blinkered, and I have to work, and rather than, okay, and it doesn't mean you have to give up your job. You can have your job, and what more can I add to my life that will bring me what it is I'm looking for? What or who can I add to my life that will bring to me what it is I'm looking for? Because like I say, you've got the essence of it, but you may not have the structure or the form or the physical component. It's coming, whatever that looks like.
Definitely. Your mind never can know what is that, because it's just the feeling, the energy, yeah?
Yeah. And look, most of us don't want to fit into this reality of the 9 to 5. I'll be a librarian anyway.
No, please.
We want to create something beyond this reality. So again, what can you do that's fun for you, that will create more money than you could imagine, that's beyond this reality?
And can I just add there, I totally get that money follows joy, and I still I get that, and sometimes most of the time I'm kind of in that space, and sometimes I don't get there. And so what I find helps me just to get into that space of money follows joy is just to ask the question every morning, what can I choose today that will be fun for me? I don't even make it about money. because then because otherwise it's like if I can't see how having this bit of fun is going to make me money, then I'm not going to choose it. So it's like if I can get out of that and go, actually, what would be fun for me right now? And it could be just going for a walk, it could be making coffee, it could be going for a coffee with somebody else, could be phoning someone, could be having a sleep. It's like when I take away the meaningful and significance of actually what would be fun for me, I can then get into that space of actually I'm having a really good day, and what else can I choose that would be fun? Or I would say, money, how much fun can we have today?
Yeah, thank you for that, because the other part of this is when you're doing what makes you laugh or you're doing what's fun for you and your body, it creates an energy. It creates a vibration, for want of a better word. You're happy, and then more happy comes to you.
Yeah.
So, here we are thinking, no, but I've got to do this essay, or I've got to send this project off, or I've got to have this deadline done, or this email, or whatever it is, and we put more and more pressure on ourselves and become more and more unhappy. And yet just going, you know what, I'm just going to take myself out for a walk around the park and come back to my desk, that's often enough to change whatever it is. And ironically, when you're happy, when you're laughing, when you're doing what you love, your receiving expands. It's like receiving is like breathing the air, because we're not taught how to receive. Receiving is like, what are you talking about? We generally are familiar with the give and take. I give you something and you take it, or I give you something and I owe you because I've taken something from you, rather than no, when you're out in nature, for instance, feeling the sun on your skin or the wind in your hair, you are receiving in totality. But it's not a logical thing. So what if you could receive money as easily as you breathe? What if you could receive money as easily as the sun shining on your skin? Same. It's just all the judgments and the points of view and the limitations and all the weird stuff that we take on around money that makes it a different journey. So, so don't laugh and don't have fun.
No, because how many of our parents had fun with money?
Oh,
how many of our points of view about money and fun with money did we get from under the age of 5? It's like we just picked this up. So, it was interesting something you were saying earlier on about being in the victim mode. And what if there's nothing wrong about playing the victim? There's just a form of way of creating your life. I realized the real big moment there for me was my mother creates money through being a victim. Oh, poor me, poor me. That's how she creates money. It's not a bad thing. It's just that's what really works for her. And she's bloody good at it. It works fantastically for her.
Yes.
So, but that's just not fun for me. Playing the victim is just not fun for me.
I'll ask you a question. Well, this is for you and Domingo. Do you both have a sense, not cognitively, but do you have a sense of the kind of lifestyle you would like to have?
Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah. So if money wasn't the issue, what would you choose? So if you tap into the energy of, you can sense it straight away. It's right there. You know the kind of life you'd like to be living. You know the lifestyle. It's not necessarily about the amount of money you've got, but you get the sense of what the life is. It's like, hang on, this isn't my life. What happened? I made a wrong turn. I've got somebody else's life. You have a sense of what you'd like your life to be. So get that essence, get that energy, fuel it up, sit there, revel in it, luxuriate in it, absorb it, expand it, and then, right, what can I add to my life that will create this as my reality?
Thank you for that, because I think also one of the things about doing this, what I call energetic side of it, is fantastic. And I will see people, people come to me as a coach and say, I want to change my money situation, and they'll do energy pulls to win the lottery or for money to appear in their life, and they'll do all of this stuff and they'll do all this and say, but it's not working. I'm going, okay, so what actions are you taking? I have to do something. I thought it was about being. And so it's like I can be joyful, but being joyful, if you want to win the lottery, you've got to get off your ass and go and buy a ticket. Sitting there kind of going, I'm going to pull energy to win the lottery, but I'm not going to go and buy a ticket. What if the inspired action is, as I said earlier on, just to go for coffee? I've met clients before in a coffee shop just because at that particular moment I happened to be in there and a conversation sparked up.
Yes.
So it's like we've got to learn to take, or we've got to be willing to take inspired action. So what actions can I take today that will create a completely different financial reality for me now and in the future?
Yes. Yeah. And that's another really good one. It's be, do, have. How we create is we be the energy. So just what we did then.
Yeah.
Be the energy of what you know you'd like your life to be. Do what's required, and then you have it. This reality is the other way around. It's do, and you may eventually, nearly when you're nearly dead, have what you've got. What if there's a totally different way?
Yes.
So money is made by requesting it to show up. So that's where I started. Money come, money come, money come, money come. And I see it coming from all directions. It's not just coming to the front of me or through my head. It's like it's like I'm pulling the energy towards me. Like, if for a description, it's like, imagine you're a magnet. Money come, and you've got the energy of desire. You've got the energy of playfulness and lightness and that sense of how you'd like to have your financial reality be. And then do what's required.
There was a question, it might have been Blossom Benedict who said this one, which was, what generative energy, space and consciousness can I be to be the money magnet of magnitude that I truly be? And that just makes me giggle every time I hear that, because it's such a fantastic question.
Yes. And the other thing too that you touched on earlier about this receiving, have you got to, most people function without knowing. They function within these glass ceilings of what they're willing to have. So whether it's a weekly figure or a monthly figure or a yearly figure. So if you're aware of what you're willing to have or receive, so right now, think about the most amount of money you've ever had in your bank account, for example. And what would it take for that to tenfold? What would it take for 100-fold? With no limit.
It's like, what figure have we agreed it's safe for us to receive?
Yeah, or is enough?
Yeah.
How much have we decided is enough? Because then if we've decided, I don't need any more, I'm happy with what I've got, you keep your life in this box. You keep your life to be really small. And if you would like to have a larger life, if you'd like to have a much bigger life, do you think that more money could show up?
And there's the thing as well, it's like, how often do we reject receiving something because it's not the amount that we were asking for? So like, this month, say I need £3,000 to do all of my outgoings, and someone will, book a session with you that's £100. You're like, but I still, and you then focus on I still don't have the £2,900 I need, so I won't bother with that. It's not big enough.
Yes. Rather than every penny, every dollar, every euro, every cent, whatever it is, it all adds to it.
Yeah.
I heard myself on the weekend, funny you should say that, I heard myself on the weekend say to the lady that was hosting me, oh, it's just pocket money. And she said, what do you mean by pocket money? And I went, oh my God. And I had this total flash. My first introduction and relationship with money was built between my father and I, where he would give me £1 a week pocket money.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, but there's something else in there. What is it about pocket money? And I went, oh my God, it's just, it's asking for it, because he would always make me ask every week for money. It would always be such a big deal. And, he'd have to get his wallet out and he'd have to, he made it a big deal for me to ask for money. And there was always this energy of, I'm a nuisance, or I had to beg, or I had to plead. It was just not pleasurable.
Yeah.
So there was all this, and that was my first introduction to having money for myself. So how many years have I walked around with that? So this pocket money thing was, it's only £10, it's okay, it's only, and I found myself disconnecting from the smaller amounts of money, devaluing the smaller amounts of money, rather than being grateful for absolutely everything, just like you're saying. Not just the big amounts. It's only £100. I need 2,900. It's going back to being grateful for what you've got. Wow, I've got £100. How does it get better than this? And what would it take for more than the £3,000 to show up?
Yeah.
So one practical tool that I want to give for people is you need to know how much it costs you to run your life. So at the beginning, when I said I was living week to week all the time, I'd always have money to pay everybody else and all my bills and everything, but there was never anything left for me. So basically what this tool does is it gets you, I'll start again. If you get yourself a notepad and write down every single penny, cent, euro that you spend, everything, the coffee, the cigarettes, the alcohol, the dresses, the holiday, you know, whatever you're buying, write down what you've spent money on every day for 1 month. At the end of the month, total it up, and this is including your mortgage and running your car and, you know, school fees or whatever it is that you're paying out for. Include everything in that month. Add it up at the end of the month. Be aware of what comes up when you look at the figure. If it freaks you out, how does it get any better than this? And what would it take for twice this amount, 5 times this amount, 10 times this amount to show up? Because if you don't know what it takes if you don't know what it costs to run your life, you'll always find yourself, you'll just have enough to get by. It's the extra, where's the surplus for me? And what you're doing is you're including you in the equation. You're including you in your life. This isn't just about earning money to pay everybody else and make them more valuable than you. Great tool.
Yeah, I did that myself a couple of months ago, and I remember looking at the figure, and I was really pissed. I had a figure in my head of what I thought it was. You know, it's kind of roughly this amount, and it was about £400 more, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, what the hell am I going to do? And I went, do you know what? Stop. Just stop. That was the first tool. Just stop. And got beyond of that, going, okay, so what would it take? So what else can I create that would actually create more than enough money for that with ease?
Right.
And went straight into the question. So I'm so grateful for stuff like this book, you know, Money's Not the Problem, You Are, and all of the tools from Access that really are changing my reality with money. I mean, literally, as we've been on this Hangout, someone's just signed up for a bars class that I'm holding in 2 weeks. So how does it get better than that?
How does it get better than that? And this is the thing, because again, money is energy, but in this reality, it's linear, it's logical. You have to do your sums, you have to write everything down, you have to track everything. You know, it's not fun for a lot of us to do the penny pinching and the budgeting and whatever. It isn't about budgeting, because if you try and deny yourself, right, I'm not going to spend this, I'm not going to spend this, you'll be really good, and then you'll go and blow it. Because for us, control or limitation or budgeting or denial doesn't work for us. If you get clear on what it takes to cost you to run your life, and then go, right, what's it going to take for double this to show up, or quadruple this, or whatever figure you like, keep asking that question, and then more money will show up, and it will come in a totally non-linear way. It will find you in other directions. And know that when you do ask, the universe always hears you. It will bring you exactly what you're asking. It may not be instantly, but it will start to come in non-linear, non-logical ways. It will start to come in, it will start to show up. So, and this is the thing, you start changing your energetic relationship, and you start seducing it. You dance with it, you flirt with it. If money was your lover, would more show up? If you treated money as a lover and you were grateful for it, would it show up? Would it want to be with you?
Yeah, and that's a great question as well. You know, I often ask that to people. It's like, if money was your lover, would it want to be with you? Think about how you treat money.
Yeah.
And it's like, so think about how you think about money. Well, it's never there when I need it. It's not reliable. It's never enough. You know, blah, blah, blah. I think, well, just, bye.
Yeah, that's it. And if you do find yourself going into a really weird space with money, one of the greatest tools is, we've already given, how does it get any better than this? And the other one is, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. If your mind, you know how I was saying earlier that our mind tends to go a bit crazy with money?
Yeah.
Try and work out how we're going to get it, which is what Domingo was saying earlier. We're always, when we're in that place of need and lack, we're always going the survival mode of, I need more, I've got to get it, rather than, hey, how can I create money? What capacities do I have to create money? And just something in relation to Domingo as well, it's like, what capacities with creating money do you have that you haven't yet claimed, owned, and acknowledged?
That's a good question, yeah.
And is it the case of, are you making one of your strongnesses a wrongness?
Probably, and one of the other things that is common as well is that the more I chase it, the more it goes away.
Do you love the chase? I did a post about that on Facebook this morning. Like, do you love the chase so much that you won't give up the chase in case you get it? Then
Yeah,
you
definitely, definitely. And is linking what one of the things you said before. Instead of start thinking about money all day, chasing it, just start to apply what is fun for you, and
Yes.
then forget about money concepts and all the points of view that are floating around from all the people, families, news, or whatever. It's like at the end of the day, they push you to think about money all the time
Yeah.
instead of having fun for yourself and then trying to feel what is fun for you to do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So have more fun and ask, money come, money come, money come.
And let it go, yeah.
Play with it, flirt with it. Have
And then,
fun.
as you say, if money is could be a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, it's like if you are calling your girlfriend, your boyfriend 24/7, every minute, it's like come, come, come. At the end, they go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
like, please, let me in.
yeah, that whole thing of need and necessity and desire is a totally different relationship as well. Neediness and desire is a totally different energy. So desiring, money come, money come.
Who wants to be with a needed person? No one.
Exactly. It's a really leave me alone kind of energy rather than yes, okay, I'll be with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions, Domingo?
I think I had enough. Well, never enough. How does it get any better than this?
How does it get any better than this? Beautiful. Actually, on that note as well, you know, when we do become aware of I can't afford it or whatever weird place we go into, you could see right then how quickly you turn that around. Yeah, I've had enough. No, how does it get any better than this? And it's literally just, it's a whole different way. It's a whole different perspective that you can start to create. You are changing your relationship with money. And everything, and it's not just money, because money's just one vehicle. Alan said earlier, you know, people don't talk about sex or money. There's lots of areas that people have points of view and conflict that they don't even realize. But if you start to change it in one area of your life, that energy starts to flow in other areas. So where else do we do need? Where else do we do lack and desperation? It may not be just with money. So if you change it with what you think is money, it starts to change how you're interacting with everything. Yeah. How does it get any better than this?
Does it? And and, you know, I wonder what else is possible that we've never even considered that's just really, really fun with money.
Yeah. So people are interested. The book, Money Isn't the Problem You Are, if you'd like to obtain a copy of that, Amazon.com, Amazon sell it. You can get it through the accessconsciousness.com website. You can order it from there. I know it's been translated into I don't know how many different languages. You can have it in Spanish. There we have. Is this one? Woohoo! Thank you, Mingo. Yeah, and I facilitate 2-day classes on these anywhere in the world where I'm invited to, and I'm also going to be holding telecalls on this. So just keep an eye on my website. If you're interested, contact me. And what else is possible?
Viv, that's been awesome. Thank you so much for everything. Because I'm, you know, if you may notice, I was yawning. There's so much energy shifting. It's pretty awesome. So thank you so much for playing with me and Domingo. So, and thank you, Domingo, for your awesome questions too, and being there with us to play with money.
Yeah.
And thank you for helping me here a bit, and everyone else is watching too. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Go forth and create. Oh, and one last thing.
Yeah.
I always ask my money to bonk and have babies. I ask my money.
That's awesome.
All the money that's in the bank, go and have sex and have lots of babies for me.
Oh,
yeah.
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 Like a little orgy there.
Yeah, have an orgy with money in your bank.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Great. Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you for receiving the contribution that you are and that the call has been. And again, thank you to Domingo.
Thank you.
Thanks, both. Bye, everyone.
Bye.